they're under a little fire, aren't they, right now? The past few months, well, the past month, I should say, with their whole weight room debacle.
I wouldn't really call it a debacle. It was kind of explanatory. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a mistake.
Nope.
It wasn't an oversight.
Nope.
I'm just gonna go straight to it, huh? Didn't
Yep.
even let me do my smooth little segue with the
Nope.
talking about the games.
I got my segue.
What about the
Okay,
what about
go
the
ahead.
game? We talking about because that stuff, like you already know what that is. Like that's the business side of things. That comes down to money, and it takes away
really
attention.
money?
It takes away focus from all the bright spots that we had in spite of all that. Like on the women's side of things, with Stanford just winning the national championship.
Yes. Stanford winning it, taking it all. That's what's up.
You're a Stanford fan now too?
I've been a Stanford fan for women's basketball. I've been a Stanford fan. What?
Okay. So,
Oh.
Stanford over Arizona. I mean, we had 2 black women coaches in the Final Four.
Yep.
Dawn Staley with South Carolina and help me with their name with Arizona.
Look,
I thought you had this
I
stuff
didn't.
on the tip
I
of your...
didn't. That's my fault. My bad. That's my fault. Go ahead, continue, and I'll look it up.
The coach from Arizona going to the Final Four, then going to the championship, lost by a point, right? So what was I talking about in terms of the big stage, right? You got all this pressure happening, and the fact that these women are performing. What's her name?
Adia Barnes.
Adia Barnes. Adia. That's it.
Adia
Barnes. Yeah.
Adia Barnes.
They're performing. You got the men's games pulling in big viewership, women's games big viewership. They're performing, equally entertaining the women's Final Four, the men's Final Four. But then the women are doing this without not even a tenth of what the men are being catered to, from facilities, practice to workout, amenities,
health.
the meals. Even the little packs that they got. So they showed
The
like
swag bags.
the swag bag. The men
Yeah.
get the shirts and the towels and the socks, NCAA Final Four. And basically, you remember the book fairs from elementary school?
Yep.
You remember the
Love
little
those.
snap bracelets?
Yes,
And
I do.
and like 10 cents. And so you got some kids that's going in there and they ordering all the books.
Yeah.
And you got other kids that's just like, can I get that eraser for the pencil and the bookmark and the snap bracelet?
And the stickers.
Yeah,
Sticker
the
book,
men
the
the
little
men got the full library, all the choose your own adventure
did.
books, the coloring books, the 64 crayon set. The women got the eraser, the little plastic pencil sharpener, and the snap bracelet.
Yeah.
They're performing on the same level, same level of excitement, but they getting snap bracelets.
Not to mention, they also didn't get the media attention. The NCAA chose to put all the photographers on the men's side for the opening games, and the women got none.
I would love to be on my reporter kind of hype and be like, so why do you think that it? But I already know the answer. So I'm like,
What?
what I was gonna say, it's really not. But I said that for a reason, because it goes back to the old mindset of separate but equal, right? You talk about like the educational system. The whole segregation thing was supposed to be separate but equal, right? They kept the separate in the but, and they just forgot about the equal.
The equal is just a word.
So,
to finish a
going
phrase.
back to what's that, Brown versus Board of Education, right? You're talking about separate but equal, meaning you guys have your schools, we have our schools. We'll have the best books, and then we'll give you the best books that you can get when we
possibly
finish with
get.
these.
Yeah.
When we get our new best books, right? So that's not a new way of thinking, and it's not limited just to a racial thing. It's a class thing. It's a sexism thing, right? So with the NCAA, they're like, look, this is who's bringing us in the most money, or this is who we feel we want to invest in to bring us the most money. So we'll be separate. Men, you're going to have your weight room right here. Women, you guys have your weight room on this side. For those of you who don't know, like one of the players from Oregon,
It was Oregon.
she went on, I don't know if it was TikTok or one of them social medias them young people be on. And she basically was like, "This is the men's weight room," and it's like a it's a convention center, right? So they have everything spread out because of COVID and all that stuff. So they have squat racks and machines and benches and free weights and all that kind of stuff laid out. She's like, and this is the women's, and then she pans down, and the rack is smaller than this table, it's a pyramid stack of like 8 dumbbells.
It's the ones you can get on Amazon.
Like 5 pound, 10 pound, 15 pounds, and that was it. And she's like, this is the women's. And then, so she comes back and she's like, they say it's because of space, because it was just the space. The men's side just had more room. So then you want to tell the story?
Go ahead. Sorry, my bad. No, my bad.
Go ahead and tell the story. She's going to show the video. She's going to show the clip while I'm talking. It'll just be like a voiceover thing. So you can't even see that I'm looking at her like this right now. So then she's like, they say it's because of space. They have like 14 chairs scattered over the same size convention center on the other side, and then there's just empty. It's a basketball court, and that's it. And that's what the NCAA said. It was because of space. It wasn't because they didn't want to put the. My question is, why couldn't they just share the weight room? Like, all the teams can't go in there at the same time anyway. So it ain't like UCLA is working out and then Syracuse is in there at the same time, and they got beef with the dudes from Oklahoma State. And no. Teams have to reserve times, and in between, they have to go in there and spray everything down and do all that stuff anyway. So why not just be like, okay, women's Stanford team, you guys have the gym at this time. Men's Duquesne, you guys have the weight room at this time, and just schedule it out like that. Like, why was it such an issue that there had to be separate gyms, but equal? Because if they really thought that it was an issue, they would have just taken half of the men's weight room and put that equipment on the women's side and just split it, instead of having to go and put a whole other weight room for the women. They can't use the same weights. And these is men's only weights. These is too heavy for y'all.
That pyramid of weights, I think, was only up to, I want to say 30 pounds.
What are you gonna do with? That's the exercise dumbbells that you use for the step aerobics. Yep. Like the little plastic coated ones. Mm-hmm. But no. So then they took it further because that went viral. It blew up. Then they started talking about the food. Men got this full buffet spread.
Lobster.
And the women got the cafeteria plates, like the school cafeteria jail slop looking stuff. Yep. In like to-go trays. Like, you could take this back to your room. And I'm like, this is 2021. Like, according to cartoons, we're supposed to be in flying cars already. Because the Jetsons.
On the Jetsons.
I mean, anytime you can get out your car and fold it up into a briefcase, your car.
I miss it.
And we can't have equal weight rooms and the same. Like, well, you got to make separate food. How do you have to make the food separate?
And apparently their COVID tests were different too. The men had a more reliable COVID test than the women. The women got the antibody test, and then the guys got some.
Oh, she scared me for a minute.
What?
Because they have a different way to collect the samples now. That's not through your nose or your mouth with the swab. I was about to be like, oh Lord. Oh Lord. I know they're not out here doing.
Oh man. And not to mention, so they had and the photographers. So I'm trying here. The photographers, they had.
Well, everybody knows women take better selfies anyway, so they just pretty much told you girls just take your own pictures.
While they're playing.
It's a scientific fact.
While they're playing.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
What?
It's a scientific fact that women. Because I mean, at this point, that's got to be what they expected, right? That's the mindset of these old dudes that's making the rules. Like, oh well, they're just gonna make duck lips.
So what they said was that they weren't gonna give the women their photographers until the second or third round.
When the games were more meaningful, basically, is what they're saying.
And then they weren't gonna give them a better weight room until the third round.
Well, because they don't need to lift weights.
Apparently not.
Or eat.
Or get the swag that they were even there.
It's pretty clear to me. I mean, there is covert and there is overt. And I be getting the two mixed up. One means out in the open. Is that overt? Or that's covert? See, now you're confused. I messed you up. See what I did there?
You did mess me up. Dang it.
But it's like, it's how racism is. Like, if you go to the South in certain places, they'll tell you.
Overtly.
We don't like your kind around these parts. So when the sun goes down, don't get caught in our town. No, I can't make this up. They have
overt.
sundown towns. Overt means what?
Is done or shown openly, plainly or readily apparent, not secret or hidden.
The O for overt.
Yeah.
Covert means they covering it up.
Yep.
They trying to. So, yeah, in the South, no joke, went on a road trip. I must have been about 6, 7 years old. And my dad used to we lived in Virginia at the time.
Okay.
Like, okay, we're gonna go on a family vacation to California. Gas up the minivan. Drove from Hampton, Virginia to here, to Sacramento, California.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
3 days. 3 days. Straight driving. So
Straight? Just.
yeah, we don't stop in hotels. You sleep in the car, and then you sleep on the side of the road. Get the little cooler, pack it up with sandwiches and cold fried chicken,
Yep.
and some Capri Suns, boom. Or them
My grandma used to do
little
that.
barrel drinks that had the foil at the top that you
Yep.
could never get quite all the foil off, and you end up cutting your lip if you try to drink it too fast, or you just poke your thumb in and just.
What
anyway,
flavor?
red.
I got purple, but it's fine.
You mean grape? Purple's not a flavor. Red is a flavor. Everybody knows that. It's not cherry. It's not strawberry. It's not watermelon. It's red.
And grape.
Purple is grape. Okay. Didn't like grape. Tastes too much like Diamond Tap. Anyway, road tripping, right? And we driving. We take the scenic route. We're going to go down through Savannah, Georgia to visit some family. Then we're going to stop in Mobile, Alabama to visit some family. Then we're going to drive across and stop in San Antonio, visit some more people. And then most of them 3 days was driving across Texas. And then we get from San Antonio and we stop in El Paso, visit somebody else. But every time we went anywhere, we went and took a different route. So one time we were in Arkansas somewhere. I don't know if you've seen that show on Netflix, Ozarks. It's really like that. Like the Ozarks or like West Virginia, Hills Have Eyes type, hillbilly type towns.
Oh.
So it's like close to nightfall, and we stop at a gas station. And this is how long ago this was. The gas station just had the numbers that scroll up, like individually, like ding, ding, ding. Like, and you could pay after you pumped your gas. It was like one of them kind of gas stations, right?
Gas? Did you have a gas attendant? Like they actually pumped the gas?
No, we was pumping it.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, man, I gotta go to the bathroom. So my mom was gonna take me. It's like a little diner or something. And so we go into the front doors. I kid you not. This is not a childhood memory that I've just made up or something, or I'm exaggerating. The music literally stopped. The record scratched, and everybody just looking at us like. And so I'm like, what y'all looking at? I gotta use the bathroom. I didn't know any better.
Right.
I'm like 7. Mom was like, yeah, we're not gonna go to the bathroom here. Well, where are we gonna go? I have to go now. I'm not driving 35 miles for no pie. So this is one of them instances where, we did it moving, got into the car. I don't know if they paid for the gas or not, but yeah. So basically, we had the sliding doors on the minivan.
Okay.
So my dad was just driving a little slow. Door open, and my mom was just holding me so I can pee out the side of the van because it was time to listen. Like that was some real like. And at the time, I didn't know why. I just figured, okay, well, this is an adventure. I get to pee out the side of the door. Cool. This is. I didn't know why we had to like master the art of peeing in clearly Canadian bottles when they were empty. You remember clearly Canadian? I wasn't allowed to drink those. That was like the adult drink. Like, these is mine. You can't have these. And so when I got older, I couldn't wait to get one. I was like, y'all hype me up for this bubbly flavored water. But whatever. But I didn't understand why we had to pee in cups or whatever, or stop at rest stops, or we couldn't. Yeah, because certain parts of the country, people our color can't be out, right?
So
That's overt. That's overt, right? That's what the NCAA is doing. It's overt sexism. Like, they're not even trying to disguise the fact that that's what it is. So to try to figure it out and piece together, well, why are they doing this? They're telling you why.
like, but you would think that they would have to follow what is it called, the Title IX?
Why would you think that? Who made these rules up?
For those who don't know what Title IX is, it's gender, where they have to basically, like he said, the whole separate but equal, but based off gender, everybody's equal on equal playing fields. There's no bias. There's no nothing. Well, apparently the NCAA doesn't apply.
What laws does the NCAA follow?
None.
They write their own rules.
They're apparently a nonprofit.
They write their own rules. They make
really
their own
do.
laws.
But they decided to voluntarily comply with Title IX.
Why is that?
Because
Would they have done it if they didn't go viral?
This was before this even happened. They decided to voluntarily comply with Title IX.
I'm talking about in this particular instance. If they voluntarily comply, you can voluntarily not comply because you're not held to that. Like, you're not signing a contract saying, we're going to give you guys this. We're going to give you.
Would you say, okay, so then would you say, kind of going a little to the side for a second, when it comes to March Madness, do you watch both, the women's and the men's side?
Me personally?
You personally.
I didn't watch either one really. I just watched like highlights or if it was on.
Okay, so then would you consider them both equally entertaining as far as whatever highlights you saw of March Madness? Because
like I said, the element of it being win or go home, like this is a must-win game, history in the making every time you step on the court. It has a different feel to it. Just like that's playoffs in any sport. It is going to have a certain buzz to it, except for baseball and basketball, like NBA, because they play several games in a series.
Right.
So until it's that elimination game, that's the one that has
whereas this is
the
literally
buzz to
go
it.
home.
Where this is every time. Yeah.
Right. So then would you think that they make the women's revenue is about as the same as the men's?
No.
Why?
I mean, look at going back to high school. People go to the boys' games more than they go to the girls' games. And we just had Kim here, and she was just talking about that, how the women's team was actually the show. So why would you want the women to play at a certain... No, she was like, nah, we're playing last. Like, people are coming to see us. Don't have us play early. Once we leave, everybody's going to leave. Nobody's coming to see y'all. But that's just how the mindset has been, that people are like, oh, well, they're the men, so they set the benchmark for the entertainment or whatever's happening. They get the commercials, they get the sponsorships, they get all the books at the fair, and y'all can get the snap bracelets.
The snap bracelet.
Snap bracelets was
So
cool.
it's like, so their whole voluntarily complying with Title IX basically is just for show. That's what you're saying? It's just for show, saying, yeah, we know.
Is that a Cali girl accent? Are you saying for sure or for show? Like, like for show.
For show, SHOW.
Okay, for sure.
For
sure, I got you. See how that could be confusing though?
I do. I get you. So it was basically for just for play.
It's for
like,
optics. It's the same reason that Lincoln freed the slaves. It's not because he actually wanted to do it. It fit the politics at the time, so I could stay in control without too much shaking. It's really to upset some other people. Follow the money. There's always money involved behind it. Because if you say something like, oh, we're going to comply with Title IX, and then there's other companies that are like, well, if you do this, we'll invest more into your business, then that's why.
I mean, this makes no sense.
You said you're a realist, right?
Yes.
This is the way of the world. That's another song from Versus that you probably don't know about.
I
it's
do.
Back in your era. But anyway. Yeah, I'm so young.
Stop it. I'm like, I grew up on all that music, but we ain't gonna go there right now, okay?
Now she grew up on that music.
I did, because basically
So your whole house is clean from watching Versus yesterday then?
see, I wasn't home yesterday.
Well, wherever you were should be spotless, because you don't put that music on without cleaning something.
That's true. That's true. Or cook. You cook with all the music on too.
Okay, that's more like barbecue stuff though.
No, this.
That's really more like the
Latina
Frankie
side.
Beverly.
Well, anyway. So back to what we were talking about with the NCAA, and you were talking about money, right?
It's always about money.
So why then, over the past, what is it? It's 2021. It says between 1997 and 2018, the NCAA shelled out over $1 billion to the top 5 conferences of the teams that won for the men.
Okay.
How much did the women get?
Is this a trivia question, or are you going to tell me? You want me to guess?
Guess.
What do you mean? The conferences? Mm-hmm. Well, the conferences aren't male or female.
Well, it's for the team. So what they did is can't talk right now. Paid out bonuses to the teams of each from the conferences that made it to the tournament. So they got how
So like the Big 12 got a
Big
got
12
a bonus because of
the
having
ACC,
a certain amount of teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So they got over $1 billion in bonuses.
From 1997
to 2018.
Okay.
How much did you think the women's teams got?
That's up to the university to determine. They give it to the school.
You would think, but they didn't get anything.
I wouldn't think. I know. They give it to the university, and it's up to the university to decide how the funds are dispersed.
So then, in that sense, you're telling me that basically the university itself chose for their men's teams to get the money and the women not to. That's what you're telling me.
That's what the numbers are telling you. If you said that nobody got anything.
Yeah, the women didn't get anything. But that doesn't
You
make
keep
no
saying
sense to
you
me.
would think.
It just doesn't make sense to me because
Listen, you said before that you were a realist.
Yes.
So this is what it is. Like, this is when you have that moment when you realize that this is how messed up the world is, right? This might be your moment right now, today, like where you're just like, oh, are you? Yeah. It doesn't make sense. It's a tried and true method that's been in place for centuries, and all they're doing is changing what they're applying it to. Men's and women's sports in general. In college, you could have the worst football team. Mm-hmm. Your team could go 0-10, mm-hmm. right? But the football team still brings in the biggest revenue for the school in terms of sports, right? Athletics. Mm-hmm. They feel like they have to share. Like it's not it's just for the school. Like the football programs are like, we have to share our money with these other programs. Nobody's going to watch lacrosse, or nobody's going to watch women's field hockey, or nobody's going to watch the aquatic sports, mm-hmm. but we have to share our money with these programs. Mm-hmm. So they're not too happy about that,
no.
Which I understand from that specific point, right? But in order for scholarships to be created for people that aren't athletes or that don't play on that particular team, mm-hmm. they have to split the money up right there.
Okay.
So the universities get to choose where they want to allocate those funds. And if women's sports in their program are not a priority, which for the most part they aren't, mm-hmm. they're not going to allocate those funds. And it has nothing to do with being fair. Until you get more women that are on these boards and at these higher positions, like being university presidents and chancellors and all that kind of stuff, if you don't have any advocates in there speaking out for women, the stuff is going to stay the same. And it's not even that they're intentionally like, oh, we just want to go after women and keep them down in their place. It's, I'm not looking out for you if you don't look like me. And that's not just a gendered thing. it's a racial thing. Like that's how the world has operated for centuries, which is why people that were naive and thinking like more altruistically, like oh you need help, hey, I'm gonna help you. They were taken advantage of,
Right.
and they got their land taken away, and they got killed off because they're not expecting somebody that comes in to want to do that kind of thing to them. It's like, oh, you need help, yeah, I'll help you. You help me. We live off the earth. We'll teach you how our ways.
But then, like for instance, for a school like UConn, where they're basically known for their women's basketball team, you're telling me that if the men's basketball team makes the NCAA tournament, that just for them being in that tournament, they're getting money, but the women's basketball team, who that's why you know who UConn is, isn't getting anything.
Well, I mean, you'd have to look at individual schools to see which schools get their. UConn is going to generate more money off of their TV deals and all that kind of stuff. When's the last time you watched a UConn women's game on TV that wasn't in a tournament?
Fair.
That stuff is regional. So based on the fan base and based on whatever media attention they get, that's where the money comes from. It's just like with the new NCAA rule about players being able to monetize and benefit from using their likenesses and stuff, right? NCAA has had how many years of making video games and selling jerseys and all this kind of stuff?
But they don't put the names on the back because they don't.
On the game, but I'm talking about the actual jerseys. You got, what was it, all the Ohio State dudes, your quarterback from the Raiders. That went to Ohio State a couple years ago.
Oh, Pryor.
Terrell Pryor. After he'd already declared, okay, I'm going to the NFL draft, he exchanged some autographed paraphernalia for some tattoos. NCAA found out about it like, wait, what? You sold some jerseys and we didn't get our cut? Oh, you're going to get suspended. Suspend me. I'm not coming back. I'm not even going to class no more. Like, I'm going to the league.
Right.
So the NCAA got on the phone with the NFL and was like, you guys can't let him play.
And that's why he was in the supplemental draft.
So he went to the supplemental draft, didn't even get drafted in the regular draft, and then they still was trying to suspend him.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. They make their own rules.
And then
it's deeper than. That's why there's no. MLB has the minor league system, right?
Yeah.
AAA, AA, single A. They have all these little farm teams that they basically grow their players. That's what they call farm teams.
And a lot of good.
And they
players
feed them. They
have come
feed
from
them into the Big Brother program, right? Same thing with basketball. First it was the D League. Now it's the G League. Just developmental, so it's a way to get guys. The NFL doesn't have that. You know why? Because they have NCAA. That's the feeder system. So they want guys to go through NCAA to get to the league. That's why it's not like with basketball, you could just go, before we can go straight to the pros from high school. Now it's 1 year. Whoopee. So guys go to college for 1 year.
The women have to finish out. I think it's like 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
To go to the WNBA?
To go to the, yeah.
Well, most of them just they go overseas and play, or they do both. But with the NFL, you have to go for you have to be 3 years removed from high school. And they figure nobody's going to sit for 3 years and not do anything, so you got to go to college. We don't care if it's Division I, FCS, which is 1AA, the Division II, Division III, NAIA, junior college, whatever. What's the other thing out of high school? Like military academy, like that kind of stuff. Those. They don't care as long as you're out for 3 years and they're saying, oh, it's because, we want them to be more developed. It has nothing to do with that. It's the more people we can get into the NCAA, the more we can grow this billion-dollar business. And that's what it is.
I mean, we all know the NCAA is corrupt in that sense. It's just.
So then why are you shocked?
We're going back.
What is?
Because
you say somebody's corrupt, and then
because of the fact that there are.
You ever watched Dora the Explorer? You ever watched Dora the Explorer?
No.
You never watched it? Never.
I mean, it may have been on in the background, but I never sat down and watched.
You don't have nieces or nephews or smaller
I don't.
cousins?
My brother, but no.
friends with kids. Have you heard of Dora the Explorer? It's a show that used to come on Nickelodeon.
I've heard of Dora the Explorer.
Okay.
Yes.
So on Dora the Explorer, there's a character named Swiper, right? He's a fox. He has a little purple bandana on his head, right? And he always will be sneaking up, and then Dora will be like, "What? Do you see Swiper the fox?" And the kids are yelling at the TV, "There he is, right there, he's right there." You see his little tail popping up. Like, if you see Swiper, say Swiper, no swiping. Say it with us. And they put their hand out like this. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping. And then Swiper's like, "Oh, man." Right? But the whole purpose of Swiper being on the show is anytime he pops up, you know he about to steal something. Right? At no point in the show, when Swiper steals something, are you like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe he took it." Like, that's what he does. That's his only purpose for the show. So for you to be like, the NCAA is corrupt, I can't believe that why wouldn't you believe it?
Because wouldn't
why are you surprised?
Schools make more money because off their women's teams? And
Where does the money go to?
the school?
No, who touches the money first?
The men's teams.
No. The NCAA touches the money first.
Yes.
The money comes from
Right.
the network deals. So that's pretty much what's happening right now. People are complaining, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe the NCAA is doing this. They're so wrong. They're so evil. Swiper, no swiping. Swiper, no swiping." And the NCAA is like, "Oh man, okay, we'll give you a new weight room. Oh man, we'll give you some more than just the snap bracelets and some erasers.
We'll give you food.
We'll give you a shirt."
We'll give you something to eat.
NCAA gets their money by doing what? By selling. What are they selling? They selling the games to the TV deals. To the TV companies. All the TV companies want to be the ones to broadcast the games. Because when people watch the games, they get their money from what? Advertisements. Companies that want to put their product on commercials,
right?
Put them on during the game. So they pay, that's why during the Super Bowl, people pay all these millions of dollars for 30-second spots. Because they figure that's where the eyes of most people are going to be. The eyes. They figure they're going to have bigger viewership, so that's where they want their commercials to show. Now, when you talk about viewership, talked about the men's games versus the women's games. They're going to promote the men's games and try to have the stadium packed out. The women's games, not so much. Sometimes they play even in a smaller auxiliary gym off to the side for that same reason.
They do.
So, if more people are watching the game during the men's games, there's more advertisement spots there. More advertisement spots, more money. Bigger TV deals, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom, they give the money to the men. NCAA gets their cut first, and then whatever side deals they cut, So remember when G Money had cut the side deal? You never seen New Jack City, huh? You don't know about New Jack City. So basically, G Money, do you know who I'm talking about when I say G Money? New Jack City, Nino Brown. Am I my brother's keeper? So anyway, G Money is like, he's bringing in this guy, this new connect, and he basically is trying to cut his own little side deal for an extra percentage off to the side. So I'm gonna bring this money in for the company, for the business, but I'm also you're gonna grease my palms for me making the introduction, right? So you look at it, NCAA and these schools, and all this kind of stuff. So they'll cut this deal like, okay, we got this TV deal for our team and for the university, but hey, for me putting this deal on, you got to cut me an extra off to the side. So they're always gonna take care of their people first, right? It's not just we got everything. We got $10 million for the university. We're gonna split it right down the middle. Men, you get 7%. Women, you get 3%. And they talk really fast like that. See, I did that. That's not down the middle, but that's how they do it. And you're like, oh yeah, it's down. We only get, and 30%, that's generous. Yeah. But hey, it's still $3 million. Why are you complaining? Well, because the men got $7 million. But you got $3 million. That's $3 million more than you would have had. But wait, I thought we all got it together and but it's an us thing. As long as we gonna get up top first and we gonna pull you guys up here with us. Okay. Right? Look, it worked for Nelly with the Lunatics. That's what they say though. It's a group. It's always one person that's supposed to get on, and then that's out of the behind the music. And they're like, "Yeah, I was supposed to get on. Like we was all a group. Then I was gonna get on, and everybody else is gonna get on." Murphy Lee ain't really get on like that. Nah. Did he have an album or just a single?
I want to say it was just a single. Oh,
he had a whole album. But the fact that I don't know that and you don't, can you name any of the songs off of there? But you know all his other verses on Nelly stuff.
Yep.
But you don't even know like really his stuff. I'm gonna have to go to Apple Music and listen to some Murphy Lee. Yeah, I know a little bit of Murphy Lee. But still, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's how the men's and the women's programs are. They're like, oh men, we're gonna put you out there. You're gonna go out front first. You're gonna get us all this money and bring it back.
And then we'll divide it.
We're gonna take the money and we're gonna build up our other programs. We're gonna build up our women, and it never happens. And you continue to be surprised and shocked and dumbfounded. It's really about how do we fix it. It's not about that it's happening, because that's just what it is. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. To call it out even is dang near beating a dead horse.
I mean, we just had our Women's History Month episode.
This stuff happened during Women's History Month.
Exactly. Like we're
blatant
trying to
disrespect.
The blatant disrespect, the just
unmitigated goal.
The overt sexism.
It was acid 9, acid 10, acid 11,
all
acid 12. It was just out there, just with my Stephen A. Blatant disrespect, unmitigated goal.
Where like, and I did read, you're right, like I did read that a lot of athletes weren't surprised that this happened. But the fact that it happened during Women's History Month, that while we're in 2021 trying to talk about equality among gender, amongst race, amongst everything, it shouldn't happen in sports, period. And I think that we as a people in general need to do better and be better and bring up everybody equally.
Oh, sweetie.
What?
So naive. Nothing happens unless there is bloodshed or boycott. Hit them in the pockets. Like you really wanna make something happen? People say the same thing with the NFL. Oh, we're gonna boycott, but they're watching the games.
But whose side are you on?
Whose side am I on?
Whose side are you on?
I'm saying hit them in the pockets. Like this, just complaining about it, because the people out there are the ones that's gonna make the difference.
So then, whose side are you on?
Thank you for watching another episode of Whose Side Are You On? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, DM us, hit us up, let us know what you want us to talk about, because I'm sure there's a ton of debates out there where he'll be wrong and I'll be right. So
There's
make sure
none of the debates that I'll be wrong about unless you just want me to choose that side. But
stay locked in. Make sure you hit that notification button and stay updated. See y'all later.
peace.